Hi, Kate here. I'm out here enjoying this 57-degree weather here in Texas, deep December. But today we will be discussing 10 tips for faster, more productive wire bending. These are tips that I have learned over the past couple of years, actually, that has made me more productive and faster in wire bending. So no matter where you are, if you're intermediate, beginner, experienced, maybe some of these or all of these tips will be able to help you. So let's get started. Oh, one more thing. Special guest contributor is Steve Szara from Szara Dental Laboratory. So check it out. Alright, let's get started. First tip of 10 tips for productive wire bending is eliminate distractions. And this is one just for me. I like watching YouTube videos, listening to documentaries while I work. But it's a very big distraction, especially when a video or screen time is involved with Facebook or email or whatever. So if you have a lot of wire that you got to complete in a little amount of time, just turn off the distractions. Number 2, clean and organize your wire bending area. I'm the worst. You can see by this picture how messy my table gets by the end of the week. So just make sure you clean it, especially like I said, if you have a bunch of wires you're about to do. It's good to have everything organized and clean so that it's not a distraction. For instance, like the pile of wire there, I'll set down a wire because I got to go get something, and then I come back and I can't find it because it's piled in with all the other crap on my desk. So it's just good to get a good deep cleaning on your desk, just a good starting point. Make sure everything's out where you need it, all your wax, all your zap it, and your model holders. So there we go. That's a good start. Number 3, have wires and auxiliaries ready to go. Last thing you want to do is when you're wire bending, you got to get up and go get a wire that you've run out of. So no matter what you use for your wire holder, I made this myself. Make sure that it's fully stocked. Especially if you got a bunch of wires you're about to bend. You don't want to run out in the middle and have to get up. Another thing is, check other things like ball clasp, Adam's clasp. Make sure you're fully stocked. Like when I'm empty there, I need to get a packet and refill that. Check your ball clasp stash. You kind of know what you're going to need. Pre-prep models. This is a big one. This will save you a lot of time wire bending. Instead of prepping each one right before you wire bend, take all the ones you're going to wire bend, prep them all together. Do everything you need to do. Pick the bubbles on all of them. Fill the voids on all of them. Draw your design on all of them. And just make sure that they're ready to go. Put your first coat of separator on it. Reset teeth, do Ponix, everything. It's very important. Hey, my friend Steve Szara from Szara Dental Laboratory YouTube channel, has a tip here for you. So take it away, Steve.
Hey, Kay, this is Steve Szara from Szara Dental Lab. Thanks for inviting me on your channel. Here's a tip that I use in my lab every day. The very first thing I do before I'm going to bend a wire, that I do on every single retainer, whatever type of appliance it is I make sure that my model is balanced. And what I mean by that is that it's equal to the plane of occlusion. For instance, you can see that this model is crooked. So every time I go to bend a retainer wire, for instance, I want it to be nice and straight, so everything's parallel. So when the doctor looks at it, the very first thing the patient and the doctor see is, wow, that looks really straight, my teeth will look really good. If you get in a bad habit of starting off and everything's not parallel, what happens is your wires will start to drift and it looks a little crooked and not parallel. So another quick tip is to mark your model. And I know you've seen this probably before in other videos, but this definitely will help a beginner orthodontic bender. If you draw a nice parallel line, you can, when you're putting your wires into place, everything will be nice and parallel to the plane of occlusion. So I hope this tip helps, and good luck.
Hey, thanks, Steve. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to his channel. He's got a great channel, lots of videos learning how to do anything in the ortho lab. So his channel link will be in the description below or here or here. All right, thanks again, Steve. Okay, moving on. Tip number 5 is work in batches. Group like appliances together. So if you have a bunch of hollies with soldered Cs, do those together. If you have a bunch of wraps, do those together. If you have metals, RPEs, do those together. That way, as you sequentially go through each one, you're going to get a little faster, a little faster, a little faster, and you'll find yourself surprised as you go through it. As you can see in this next picture, you see how I've laid it out: metals on the left, RPEs, and wraps and hollies and things like that. So that should give you an idea. Okay, tip number 6 is time tracker. I know this sounds weird, but this will really concentrate where your weaknesses are and where your strengths are. So get you a little grid, piece of paper, something, and just write down your start time on each appliance and your end time on each appliance, and you can figure out how long you're taking per appliance, and set goals for yourself. Make sure you can, hey, I want to learn to bend a holly in 10 minutes. So I'm going to put a link to this PDF in the description below. If you're a Patreon subscriber or paid subscriber, check the websites and I'll have a link to this actual Excel spreadsheet page. Alright, number 7 is solder in groups. This has a little bit more to do with working batches than after a time tracker, but if you will bend all your wires first, even if they need solder, do that, and then you can solder them all at one time. And you can even break that down even more. You can apply all your flux to all 20 appliances at once, and then go back and add your heat shield to all 20 appliances, or however you're doing it. This will just help to reduce having to get out the flux on each one and put it back, get out the heat shield on each one and put it back, get out the flux once, put it on all of them, put the flux up, get the heat shield out, put it on all of them, put the heat shield back, and then go in and you can start soldering. And when you get done, you just pick up the next one. It's already flux, it's already heat shield, and you're ready to go to start soldering. So that'll shave a few minutes off your wire bending time too. Tip number 8. Watch others bend wires and get tips from other wire benders. Here's Steve Szara again.
Hey, another great tip for new wire benders is to be able to go online and utilize all the digital technology that we have. You can go on Google and search any orthodontic appliance and be able to find dozens of pictures and techniques on how to make these appliances. We didn't have these 10, 20, 30 years ago. Basically, you either had to learn from someone else or go to the library and try to hunt something down. So take advantage of this, and good luck.
Thanks again, Steve. Steve's a good example of learning from someone else, so be sure and subscribe to his channel. It's in the description below or somewhere over here. And thanks again, Steve, for helping out with this video. Okay, tip number 9 is ergonomics. This is probably one that's kind of overlooked by everybody, but you need to make sure you got the table height, you got your pliers set, you got the model at the right height, so you don't hurt your back. This will help reduce tiredness or stress on your back, which will then slow you down. There are other tips such as notice where I put my marker is right near my model, so I can easily grab it and put it on there. And then also things like grabbing the pen with the pliers still in my hand. There are a lot of little tips like that, so learn them as you go. And of course, tip number 10 is practice, practice, practice. I can't stress this enough. You only get faster the more wires you will bend, so don't be afraid. Get in there and get your hands dirty. Thanks for watching the video. If you have a tip, be sure and leave it in the comments below. I'm sure we'd love to hear it. And if you have any questions, be sure and leave those in the comments below too. Like and subscribe to this channel, and a big thank you to Steve Szara, Szara Dental Laboratory. Be sure and like and subscribe his videos, and another big thank you to all the patrons. Couldn't have done this without you. Be sure and check out your Patreon page for all your extras. Hope this has helped, and until next time, happy wire bending.